Hello, it's Iino. This time, we will broadcast you logistics news in early July 2024. We will report on the future of container shipping via the Cape of Good Hope, labor negotiations on the U.S. East Coast, the Indian economy, and more. So, let's get started. Reopening of the Suez Canal may take time? Container ships are currently under attack from the Houthis in the Red Sea, and shipping lines are taking routes via the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa. In this regard, Hapag-Lloyd indicated that the Suez Canal voyages will not resume anytime soon. The background to this Houthi attack in the Red Sea is the war between Israel and Palestine. The Houthis, a Yemeni armed faction reportedly backed by Iran, have been attacking Western merchant ships in the Red Sea, in solidarity with Hamas, an Islamic organization that continues to fight Israel, as a protest against the Western-leaning Israeli attack on Gaza. As of June 10, the UN Security Council adopted a resolution calling on both Israel and Hamas to agree and implement a U.S. proposed ceasefire proposal in the Palestinian Gaza Strip. However, Israel and Hamas have been experiencing discrepancies over amendments to this ceasefire proposal, making it difficult to pass the ceasefire proposal. It is also unlikely that the Houthis will immediately stop attacking merchant ships in the Red Sea, even if a ceasefire plan is agreed. As already reported, the diversion of the Cape of Good Hope has significantly increased time and costs, contributing to higher sea freight costs. Even if the Suez Canal becomes operational, there are strong indications that it will take some time for shipping lines that have shifted their routes via the Cape of Good Hope to return to Suez Canal operations and for normal operations to stabilize. Although the high sea freight rates are partly due to retailers stockpiling and port congestion, there are concerns that the prolonged avoidance of Suez Canal navigation will have a significant impact on supply chain disruptions in the future. Labor management negotiations at North American East Coast ports to start in October 2024. Strikes will reportedly begin in North America's East Coast in October 2024 as collective agreements expire at the end of September 2024. One of the reasons for the strike is that the ILA, a trade union on the east coast of North America, is claiming to the Employers Association, USMX, that the agreement is not being honored. The problem is that East Coast ports use an auto gauge system that automatically processes trucks, and this automation is reducing the workload of ILA workers. It is reported that automation and wage negotiations will be major issues in this round of labor negotiations. With supply chains disrupted by rising sea freight rates and port congestion, a strike on the east coast of North America is expected to have a significant impact on the market. In 2022, the labor agreement on the west coast of North America expired, and labor negotiations on the trade union side and the port side were protracted, during which the trade unions engaged in delaying port operations and other actions. If the same thing happens in the current labor management negotiations on the East Coast, container turnover will drop, and container shortages will become more serious. It will be interesting to see how this will affect the already high sea freight rates. Space tight, despite 1.6 million TEU new ships being deployed by shipping companies. This year, shipping companies have deployed approximately 1.6 million TEU of shipping capacity, but space remains tight, unable to keep up with demand. The shipping companies that gained large profits in the COVID-19 pandemic have invested heavily in new shipbuilding, resulting in a rush of new shipbuilding from last year through this year. Initially, the supply of new vessels exceeded demand, and there were concerns that there might be a glut of vessels. However, due to geopolitical issues at the Suez Canal, even a large number of new vessels have not been able to cover demand on routes from Asia that operate via the Cape of Good Hope. The price of a 40-foot container has risen from $1,700 in April of this year to $3,600 in just 2 months. In addition, shipping congestion has worsened at the ports of Singapore and Malaysia, with long waits still occurring offshore. One further increase in demand has been in forward purchases. European and US shippers, concerned about supply chain disruptions, are buying inventory ahead of time in anticipation of congestion. Another factor is the rush demand ahead of the U.S. announcement to raise tariff rates on imports of Chinese-made electric vehicles to 100%. Although several new vessels will be introduced later this year, there is a strong indication that this is unlikely to bring supply and demand into balance. We will continue to update you on how long forward buying will continue and how long ocean freight rates will continue to rise. Will India's economy really grow? India's economy is growing at a high rate due to population growth. However, there are reported difficulties in following the trajectory of China, whose economy has similarly grown due to population growth. In India's general elections held in June, the ruling BJP led by Prime Minister Modi lost a large number of seats. One reason given is that the Modi administration has not been able to successfully create jobs, and many of its citizens are not experiencing economic growth. Although the overall growth rate of the Indian economy is showing a high level, there is a wide divergence between the bright and dark side of the economy depending on the industry. Although 46% of India's working population is employed in agriculture, forestry, and fisheries, the growth rate in this sector has been poor, while the manufacturing and construction industries are considered booming. However, the percentage of people working in these industries is quite low, 12% in manufacturing and 13% in construction, meaning that only 25% of all workers in the two industries combined are working in booming industries. Furthermore, wages are not high, even in booming industries, and it is strongly believed that economic growth in India will be difficult in the future unless the manufacturing industry grows. An Indian economist and professor at Columbia University in the US states, "There has never been a single example in history of a labor-intensive industry that involves a large number of ordinary workers that has been able to transform itself from a developing economy into a middle to high-income economy, without developing an export-oriented manufacturing sector, and India is no exception." In addition to this, it is reported that it is not easy to implement in a democracy the rapid industrialization that China achieved with its autocratic government. What did you think of this issue of logistics news? If you found it useful, please subscribe to our channel, like us, and share on social networking sites. That's all for this issue. Thank you very much.
In this channel, I explain about international logistics knowledge for your better understanding. I hope this video will be a good support for your logistics job. If you have any shipment from Thailand or to Thailand, please feel free to contact me, Iino-san, anytime. Also, I'm very motivated to keep updating these videos. If you subscribe, press good or comment anything. Well, thank you. See you next time.